Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Alright, in this one I'm going to go over my rod setup for my topwater bait. This is a different one now. This is my popper. I've done one for my walking style bait. I do have a little bit different of a setup for my popper. And the reason why I'm going over it is because it's a little bit different, but it's a little bit more specific as well. So this rod I have caught, I mean, this is an old rod. I mean, this is probably one of my, this rod is probably, I built this rod probably about, oh man, 9 years ago, 8-9 years ago, something like that. And this thing's just been a really good rod all around. I mean, it's not a high-end rod. You know, the rod blank is not like an expensive rod blank. I mean, it's just been pretty good. You know, so this rod, now this is a shorter rod. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of more specific than my other ones. This is actually 6'6", and I do like a shorter rod when I'm throwing this popper, the popping style baits, because I want to be a little bit more accurate. And with a shorter rod, you can be more accurate with your casting. And the line is lighter as well. So I'm not throwing a little bit heavier line. I'm throwing, I believe it's either 10 to 20 pound braided line. Actually, if I don't have 10-pound line on it right now, I'm going to be switching it because I want a smaller diameter braid line to help me cast a little bit easier. The fluorocarbon is 10-pound fluorocarbon, and that I do want to stay. And I do have a little bit longer of a leader for the fluorocarbon because I fish it a lot more in clear water situations, and I want to be able to make sure that the fish aren't going to see that, because I do pause this more. So when it pauses, the fish might see that line sitting in front of it. With the walking style bait, the bait is moving, it's constantly moving, it's in action. So a fish isn't focused on the line, they're focused on the bait. But with this one, since I pause and I stop it, they might actually see that line in super clear water. So I do want a longer fluorocarbon leader, and it's 10 pound. But for the rod, let's get back to the rod. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. I like to talk about the rod, the reel, then the line. Okay, the rod, 6'6", medium heavy, moderate fast action. Moderate fast. So I don't want it to have, so since with the popper and the treble hooks, I want that moderate action. You know, with the top, I want to have a bit more of a bend in the rod, more parabolic bend. And I know it's a little bit different than my crankbait setups, but it's a little bit different. With this one, sometimes it could be close hand to hand, and with the crankbaits, I'm already reeling it in, and I've got my crankbait rod is a little bit longer anyway, so that also helps. But for this one, since I'm making it, you know, more accurate casting and shorter casts, I want to have more of a parabolic bend for those short strikes. Because when I come up to strike, I want to have a chance at catching and landing that fish. And I'm going to have a better chance if I have a parabolic bend. It helps, you know, keep that hook pinned, because it helps keep that line from having slack in the line. It stays bent. So the fish does jump or get a little bit too close, the rod comes back, but it doesn't come back all the way. So it helps keep pressure on that hook in that fish's mouth. And in this situation, that is exactly what I want. And I've caught a lot of fish, largemouth, smallmouth, pike, not walleye, but I haven't had a walleye hit a topwater yet. But a lot of pike and smallmouth, largemouth and smallmouth, well yeah, pike too. But a lot of largemouth and smallmouth on this bait. Obviously, it's, you know, basically a bass lure, right? But caught a lot of fish on it, anyways. And this rod setup has worked out phenomenal for me. So I have no reason to change it yet until I start switching things up, and you know, then maybe I will. So next, we're going to talk about the reel. The reel is kind of the same as a couple of my other reels. Honestly, it's not, I don't get too crazy. This one is 6'3" to 1. Yep, this is a 6'3" to 1. And I wanted a little bit slower of a reel on this one because I'm not casting this one out way far. I'm not casting it way out there, so I don't have to worry about catching up to it. It has just enough speed to keep me where I want to be with the fish if they hit me, you know, at a medium distance out. So that's perfect for me. And then this is, you know, again, just watching my other reels, Quantum Smoke reel. This one's an older one. I should upgrade so that way I have the better drag system, but this drag system still works out pretty good. I haven't had any issues with it. It's been on this rod. This setup has been like this for years. Have not had issues with it at all. I mean, it's phenomenal that you can have a setup like this. So when it comes time to upgrade, I am going to be looking for a setup exactly like this for my popper, and my setup for this popper, I should say. And it's just been good. I can't say enough about it. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is the line. Like I alluded to earlier, I think I got 20-pound braided line on here. I got to go down to 10 for ease, to cast easier. But I got 10-pound fluorocarbon line leader. Now with the 10-pound braided line, jumping back here, the 10-pound braided main line, that is, you know, there's a possibility of, you know, breaking that easier than, you know, the 20-pound. But I'm not throwing this in heavy cover. I'm not throwing it around too much heavy cover either, but it is going to be like, say, around docks, maybe some emergent weed edges and like visible weed edges, and just, you know, around some weeds eventually. But this setup should be enough to get that out, and it has been so far. So I haven't had any issues with it. And the 10-pound fluorocarbon line is just nicer to keep it out there, and plus I don't want braided line going straight up to my bait here, because I've had issues like I talked about with my walking bait. I've had issues with that being too loose and getting tangled up in the treble hook. I mean, it's happened numerous times. So this rod has been perfect for me. I have no reason to switch it, like I said, until I upgrade to you know, maybe if I upgrade to a different rod brand or something like that, then that's you know, where I won't switch the action. I will get one exactly like this, or at least as close as I can. But this setup has caught a ton of fish. It's been really good for me, guys. You know, if you're looking for a setup that, you know, for your popper, and you know, a lot of folks will start out with the popper on a spinning rod. That's, I mean, perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with throwing a popper on a spinning rod. It's so much easier to cast, no backlash, obviously, and your drag is set up just fine on there too. So if you're just starting out with a popper, you know, maybe start out with the spinning rod just to play, just get into it, and then, you know, or just jump straight into the casting rod, or, you know, the bait caster if you want to. Do whatever makes you more comfortable. Just know that with the bait caster, there is a bit of a learning curve, or, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a learning session to get your bait, you know, right, and the cast right. I finally got this one going. I still backlash every once in a while. It's a bait caster. Everybody backlashes, but every once in a while, I'll go from a big heavy swim bait rod to this rod. I'm going to backlash almost right away, just because way different setups, right? So anyways, you know, hopefully this helps you guys out. And if you're looking for a setup for your popper in a bait casting model, you know, give us a shot. And it's worked out great for me, so, you know, hopefully it'll help you out as well. That's gonna do it, guys. That's my setup for my popper for bait casting rod. This is the one I trust day in and day out. If I want to pull this out of the, if I want to pull my popper out of the rod locker, this is the one. It's already pre-rigged, ready to go. So that's the deal. That's my juice. But thanks again for watching. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next video.